Your future needs you. Listen to me for a second. Right now, where you're standing, life might feel heavy, doubts loud, fears persistent, and excuses are tempting. But here's the truth. Your future is watching you. It's waiting on the choices you make today, not tomorrow, not next year, today. You don't get confidence first and then act. No, you act and confidence follows. Fall down, good. That means you're trying. Get back up. Dreams don't work unless you do. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. What exists is this moment, this breath, this chance. Use it. Your future doesn't need your comfort. It needs your courage. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch my long motivational videos. 1. Your future is shaped by what you do today, not by what you plan to do tomorrow. 2. Fear and failure are part of the process, not signs to quit. 3. Action creates confidence, and courage grows when you move forward anyway. Your future is shaped by what you do today, not by what you plan to do tomorrow, and that's not just a nice line to feel good about. It's a hard truth that separates people who move forward from people who stay stuck dreaming. See, tomorrow is a promise your mind loves to make because it feels safe there, comfortable, no pressure, no risk, no failure. But today asks something from you. It demands effort, discipline, and responsibility, and most people run from that. You can sit around talking about what you're going to do, how one day you'll change, how next month you'll start, how next year things will be different, but the future doesn't hear words, it responds to actions. Every small decision you make right now is casting a vote for the life you're going to live later, whether you realize it or not. When you wake up and choose to hit snooze instead of getting up, that's a vote. When you scroll instead of study, that's a vote. When you avoid the hard conversation, skip the workout, delay the work, that's a vote too. And don't get it twisted, those votes add up. Life doesn't change in big dramatic moments most of the time. It changes quietly through daily habits, through what you do when no one's watching, through the choices that seem small but aren't. You don't wake up one day successful or strong or confident out of nowhere. You build that person brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. That's why today matters so much. Right now is the only place where effort actually counts. You can't fix yesterday, and you can't work in tomorrow, but today, this moment, that's where everything is decided. People say they're waiting for motivation, waiting for clarity, waiting for the right time, but the right time isn't coming dressed up with fireworks and a marching band. The right time usually shows up looking like discomfort, fear, and uncertainty, and you either step into it or step away. Your future self is counting on you to do the uncomfortable work now so they don't have to live with regret later. Think about that for a second. Think about the version of you 5 or 10 years from now, looking back at this exact phase of your life. Will they be grateful that you pushed through when it was hard, or will they wish you'd stopped making excuses and started taking responsibility? Because regret is heavy, and it lasts longer than effort ever will. Effort hurts in the moment, sure, but regret sits with you for years, whispering you could have done more when it's too late. That's why discipline beats motivation every single time. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline shows up even when you don't feel like it, and discipline is built today, not tomorrow. You don't become disciplined by thinking about being disciplined. You become it by doing what needs to be done when you don't feel like doing it. That's how character is formed. That's how confidence is earned. Confidence isn't magic. It's the result of keeping promises to yourself over and over again, especially the small ones. When you say you're going to do something today and you actually do it, you're telling yourself, I can trust me, and that trust compounds. Over time, you start walking differently, speaking differently, thinking differently, because you know you're someone who shows up. On the flip side, every time you delay, every time you say, I'll do it later, and don't, you're training yourself to doubt yourself. You're reinforcing the identity of someone who doesn't follow through, and that's a dangerous habit to build. The future you want doesn't come from big speeches or perfect plans. It comes from imperfect action taken consistently. You don't need to have it all figured out today. You just need to take the next right step. Clarity comes from action, not the other way around. You move first, and the path reveals itself. Too many people want guarantees before they move, but life doesn't work like that. You walk by faith, not by sight, and faith without action is just wishful thinking. Every successful person you admire had moments where they were unsure, scared, and doubted themselves, but they moved anyway. They didn't wait for fear to disappear, they learned to walk with it. And that's what today asks of you, not perfection, not certainty, just courage. Courage to start, courage to try, courage to fail forward. Because failure isn't the opposite of success, quitting is. As long as you're moving, learning, adjusting, you're still in the game. But the moment you stop taking action, the moment you keep postponing your life, you hand your power away. Time doesn't pause because you're unsure. Life doesn't slow down because you're afraid. It keeps moving, and either you move with it or you get left behind. So don't underestimate the power of what you do today. Read that one page, make that call, take that walk, write that paragraph, pray that prayer, show up even when it's messy, even when it's hard, even when no one applauds, especially then, because today is training ground for your future. What you practice now is what you perform later. If you practice excuses, you'll perform regret. If you practice discipline, you'll perform greatness. Simple as that. Your future doesn't need your intentions, it needs your actions. It doesn't need your promises, it needs your consistency. And it all starts right now with the choice you make in this moment. Choose wisely, because one day, sooner than you think, today will be the past, and you'll be living in the future you built with it. Fear and failure are part of the process, not signs to quit. And once you truly understand that, everything about how you move through life begins to change. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because the moment fear shows up or things don't go as planned, they assume something's wrong and pull back. But fear isn't a stop sign, it's a signal that you're stepping into growth. Think about it. Every meaningful thing you've ever wanted required you to feel uncomfortable first. New levels don't come wrapped in confidence. They come wrapped in uncertainty, sweaty palms, racing thoughts, and that voice in your head asking, what if this doesn't work? That voice isn't your enemy, it's just unfamiliar territory talking. The problem is we've been taught to see fear as danger instead of direction. We tell ourselves if we're scared, we're not ready. If we fail, we're not good enough. But that mindset keeps people trapped in safe routines and small lives. Failure isn't proof that you're incapable, it's proof that you tried, and trying is the only doorway to growth. Nobody wins without losing first, nobody masters anything without being bad at it in the beginning, and nobody builds strength without resistance. You don't walk into the gym, lift once, and walk out strong. You strain, you shake, you struggle, and that struggle is what builds muscle. Life works the same way. The setbacks, the rejections, the missed shots, the wrong turns, all of it is training. But if you quit at the first sign of difficulty, you never let the process do its job. Fear will always show up when you're about to do something that matters. If it didn't, it would mean you're playing small, staying safe, repeating what you already know. Growth lives on the other side of fear, and the only way through it is straight through. You don't wait for fear to leave, you move with it. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in the presence of it. The people you admire didn't wake up fearless, they just refused to let fear make decisions for them. They understood that fear lies, it exaggerates the worst outcomes and hides the best possibilities. It tells you you'll fail forever, be judged, be embarrassed, but what it doesn't tell you is how much stronger you'll become by facing it. And then there's failure, the word people avoid like it's a disease. Failure isn't fatal, but the fear of it can be. Failure is feedback, it's information, it's life saying, that way didn't work, try adjusting. But too many people take failure personally, as if one mistake defines their entire worth. You're not your failure, you're the lesson you take from it. Every failure sharpens you if you let it. It teaches patience, humility, resilience, and grit, qualities success demands but comfort never develops. If failure meant you should quit, no one successful would exist. The difference is they failed and stayed in the game. They fell and got back up, sometimes embarrassed, sometimes bruised, sometimes doubting themselves, but still moving. Quitting feels good in the short term because it removes discomfort, but it costs you long term. It costs you growth, confidence, and self-respect. You can recover from failure, but it's hard to recover from the habit of quitting. Every time you push through fear instead of backing down, you send yourself a powerful message: I can handle hard things, and that belief becomes armor. Over time, fear loses its grip, not because it disappears, but because you stop listening to it so closely. You start trusting your ability to adapt more than your need for certainty. Life doesn't reward perfection, it rewards persistence. Showing up again after failing takes more strength than succeeding on the first try. Anyone can look good when things go right, but character is revealed when things go wrong. And those moments, the messy ones, the quiet ones, the painful ones, are shaping you in ways you can't see yet. Right now, you might feel behind, disappointed, or unsure, but that doesn't mean you're off track. It might mean you're right where you need to be, learning lessons you'll need at the next level. Failure slows you down so you can build a stronger foundation. Fear forces you to confront who you really are and who you're willing to become. The goal isn't to avoid these things, it's to use them. Let fear sharpen your focus, not steal your courage. Let failure humble you, not harden you. Learn, adjust, and keep moving, because the only real failure is refusing to try again. Every attempt builds experience. Every setback builds wisdom. Every scar tells a story of survival. You don't grow by playing it safe. You grow by risking looking foolish, risking being wrong, risking falling short. And here's the truth nobody likes to admit. Success feels better when you've earned it through struggle. When you've stared fear in the face and kept going, when you've failed and refused to stay down, you carry a quiet confidence that can't be shaken. So stop seeing fear as a warning and start seeing it as a doorway. Stop seeing failure as the end and start seeing it as a lesson. Stay in the process, stay in the fight, because what you're becoming on the other side of fear and failure is worth every uncomfortable step it takes to get there. Action creates confidence, and courage grows when you move forward anyway, and that simple truth has the power to change how you see yourself and your life if you let it sink in. Most people believe confidence comes first, that one day they'll wake up feeling ready, fearless, and sure of themselves, and then they'll finally take action, but life doesn't work that way. Confidence isn't the cause, it's the effect. It's built through movement, through doing, through showing up before you feel prepared. Waiting to feel confident before acting is like waiting to get fit before going to the gym. It sounds logical, but it keeps you stuck exactly where you are. The reality is confidence is earned, not gifted, and it's earned through repetition, through effort, through small wins stacked on top of each other. The first time you try something new, you're going to feel awkward, uncertain, maybe even foolish, and that's normal. That discomfort isn't a sign you're failing, it's a sign you're learning. Every skill you admire, every strong personality you respect, every leader you look up to, they all started as beginners, unsure and imperfect, but they moved anyway. Action is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. When you take action despite fear, you prove to yourself that fear doesn't control you, and that realization alone begins to shift how you see yourself. Courage isn't some loud, dramatic moment where fear disappears. It's quiet, it's subtle, it's choosing to move forward with shaky hands and a racing heart. Courage grows every time you choose progress over comfort. The first step is always the hardest because it challenges your identity. It forces you to step out of the version of yourself that feels familiar, even if that version is unhappy or unfulfilled. But once you take that step, something powerful happens. Your mind starts to adjust. It starts to say, maybe I can do this. That maybe turns into belief, and belief turns into confidence over time. Action silences doubt in a way thinking never will. You can think yourself into circles, overanalyzing every outcome, imagining everything that could go wrong, but the moment you act, clarity replaces confusion. You learn faster by doing than by planning. You grow stronger by facing resistance than by avoiding it. Every action, no matter how small, reinforces the idea that you're capable, and capability builds confidence. That's why small actions matter so much. You don't need a massive breakthrough to change your life. You need consistent movement. Make the call you're avoiding. Speak up even if your voice shakes. Start the project even if it's messy. Show up even if you don't feel like you belong yet. Each time you do, you expand your comfort zone just a little more, and over time, what once felt impossible becomes normal. That's how courage compounds. It's not built overnight, it's built decision by decision. The problem is too many people let their feelings dictate their actions. They wait to feel inspired, motivated, confident, but feelings are unreliable. They change with the weather. If you only act when you feel good, you'll live a very limited life. Discipline is choosing action regardless of how you feel, and discipline is a close cousin of courage. When you act without needing perfect conditions, you build trust with yourself. You start to believe your own words. You stop seeing yourself as someone who talks and start seeing yourself as someone who does, and that identity shift is everything. Once you see yourself as a person of action, confidence becomes natural. Not arrogance, not ego, but a calm, grounded belief that you can figure things out as you go. That belief doesn't come from success alone. It comes from surviving difficulty, from realizing you didn't break when things got hard, from seeing that you can fail, learn, and continue. Every time you take action and survive the outcome, even if it's not perfect, you weaken fear's grip. Fear thrives on inaction. It grows stronger when you hesitate and imagine worst-case scenarios. Action starves fear. It replaces imagination with experience, and experience is the greatest teacher. You don't become brave by thinking about bravery. You become brave by doing brave things, even in small ways. Courage grows in the moments no one applauds, when you choose to keep going without guarantees. Life doesn't hand confidence to people who wait, it gives it to people who step forward. You don't need to know every step of the journey, you just need to take the next one. Confidence comes from trusting your ability to adapt, not from knowing the outcome in advance. And the more you act, the more evidence you collect that you're capable of handling whatever comes next. That evidence becomes your inner strength. Over time, you stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start asking, "What's the next move?" That's growth, that's maturity, that's power. So if you're feeling stuck, unsure, or afraid, don't wait for confidence to save you. Let action lead the way. Move first, even imperfectly. Speak, try, fail, learn, repeat. Courage isn't built in comfort, it's built in motion. And with every step you take forward, confidence will quietly catch up until one day you look back and realize you've become the person you once hoped you'd be, not because you felt ready, but because you acted anyway.